there, you have tuned into Market Fatafat on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me is Snehi Shah. And viewers, this is the show where in the next 1 hour we're going to be highlighting all the buzzers in trade right now. But because what we are seeing is that it's quite a range-bound trading session for the benchmark indices, but a lot of stock-specific action. So that's what we're going to be highlighting in the next 60 minutes. We will be joined with our technical expert for today as well as our researcher. But before that, Snehi, though the markets also seem to be in a bit of a holiday mode, but the bulls are seen to be taking the charge yet again. It's been a decent recovery from the day's low.
Absolutely, Shrishti, hi there, good morning, pardon me, good afternoon. Seems like we've also slipped into the holiday mode already, Shrishti. But nonetheless, recovery, yes. Good recovery as from the lowest point of the trading day, but nonetheless we are nominally in the red when it comes to Nifty 50. Just a 1/10% cut now coming in, but looking good above that 23,600 mark for now. If you take a look at where the Sensex is up to, 0.2% lower, barely holding on to 78,000. Let's see if those levels are sustainable in the last 2 hours of trade today as well. Broader markets, then let's pull up a Nifty mid cap. It's almost tilting towards the green, so we can hope for some recovery there. Nifty small cap at the highest point of the trading day, 0.5% uptick coming in on Nifty small cap. It's once again no surprise that Nifty small cap is the outperformer amongst the benchmarks as well as the broader markets. India VIX is up 2.5%, so that is something that looks a slight bit of concern over there, but not much to worry about because we are still around those 14.5 levels, so not looking too bad on that front either. If you take a look at the sectoral performance, it's the day of the pharma stocks today. It's a sector Shrishti tracks very closely, and that's the winning sector today. 1% uptick on pharma, energy, PSU banks, metals, autos and FMCG barely in the green, but nonetheless these are your winning sectors. What's not doing good at all today, deep cuts of red coming in, is Nifty IT. More than 1.5% cut on Nifty IT, Realty, Nifty Finance and Nifty Bank. These are your losing sectors in today's trade. Rather, Nifty Bank also just a 0.1% cut coming in, inching very close to the 51,000 mark on Nifty Bank. There you have it. So let's hope we can see those marks in those levels in today's trade, but that's how the market breadth is shaping up to be like right now, Shrishti.
Well, certainly, but with this, let's move on and let's connect with our technical expert for today, as well as let's also get joined by our researcher. On the technical side, Osho Krishan is joining us, as well as on the research side, Jinay is here with us. A very good afternoon, gentlemen. But before we come to you, let me highlight the first group of counters, and that is the auto pack that is in focus because it's the last day of this calendar year, not just that of this particular month as well, and we are waiting for the December auto sales data, and this time we are expecting minor positive trend across the segments because do remember that yes, passenger vehicle companies, the key focus for this particular month has always been to get away with the year-end inventory, but on the flip side, consumers are also taking a note that going ahead the price hikes will be applicable. So in lieu of that, the passenger vehicle segment has done fairly better, especially from the likes of Maruti Suzuki as well as M&M. We are expecting a double-digit growth. In the tractor division, that could be the next sector to watch out for because the farmer sentiment on ground is really positive. That could actually bode well for stocks like Mahindra and Mahindra, where we are expecting a jump of 14% in the sales number on a YOY comparison. Coming to the two-wheeler segment, here in a select companies only are expected to do better because do remember that the trend in the two-wheeler segment, actually the positive trend in the two-wheeler segment has been continuing for the past couple of months. So do watch out for TVS Motors as well as Eicher Motors, where we are expecting a double-digit growth, while for Hero MotoCorp, the pressure could persist and where we are expecting a decline yet again. In the commercial vehicle segment, on a month-on-month basis, you will see a great double-digit growth across the companies, but do remember that will come on a low base, specifically from the MHCV segment. So do take a note of that. But all in all, the passenger vehicle as well as the commercial vehicle segment and the tractor segment as well, these are the key sectors to watch out for.
Okay, expecting a mixed bag when it comes to the auto sales numbers. But moving on, Osho, good afternoon. You picked out Apollo Hospitals for us. Last 1 year, the move has been pretty decent. It's not outperformed anything rather, but it's been a decent 25% uptick coming in on a year-to-date basis. So tell us what the view is on the charts going ahead and how is 2025 going to shape up for this stock?
Very good afternoon to both of you and all the viewers of ET Now. Well, coming to the technical perspective of Apollo Hospitals in this counter have been into a very positive trajectory, as you have highlighted that on the year-on-year basis, it has already gained more than 25% and is still hovering near the lifetime high zone. And in the last few trading weeks, the counter is into a very strong consolidation near the zone of 7,200 on the lower end and 7,350 on the higher end. So I'm expecting that the time it breaches above the zone of 7,350, there will be a very decisive move that can be seen in this counter. The immediate target will be approximately 7,500, but the medium-term target comes around the zone of 78 to 7,900 levels. So this counter is poised to have a very strong movement, and I'm expecting a very decent run in the coming period. So even for short-term perspective or for medium-term perspective, one can definitely take a bullish bet in this counter for a very positive ROI.
Note on Apollo Hospitals. That's the call coming in from Osho. Let's talk about Adani Wilmar, because yesterday, of course, we had news flow on this stock that Adani Enterprises will sell roughly 13% in Adani Wilmar to achieve the minimum public shareholding requirements. And Wilmar International has agreed to acquire the remaining 31% held by Adani Enterprises in Adani Wilmar Limited. On the back of this news flow, then we have a couple of brokerage notes coming in. You have JP Morgan that's come out with their underweight rating. They continue to maintain an underweight with a target price of 320 rupees per share. They believe that the stock enjoys significant sourcing, supply chain and scale advantages. They also believe that the 40 times FY26 price to earnings are very well priced in the franchise strength, and FY26 value the edibles. They value the edible oil business as at an EV EBITDA of 12 times. Foods at an EV to revenue of 3 times, and industry essentials at EV to EBITDA of 8 times. So that's a note coming in from JP Morgan. Maintain their underweight rating. Quickly, we also have a note from Investec on Adani Wilmar. They've maintained their whole rating. Target price of 397. They believe that the single promoter ownership is a positive outcome, and they expect the entire transaction to be completed before the requisite 12 months. That's the outlook coming in from both of these brokerages, Investec as well as JP Morgan. The stock under deep pressure, 6.7% lower almost as we speak.
All right, so that's the take on a couple of these Adani group of counters and the news flow related that. But yes, indeed, the pharma is the sector that is seen to be in the pink of health, and Aurobindo Pharma is also holding up well. But Osho, highlight the levels that one should watch out for when it comes to this counter.
The Auro Pharma is witnessing a very strong resurgence from the zone of 1250 in the last 2 trading days. And it is on the verge of giving a very strong trend reversal, because it has reversed from its short-term moving average and now has emerged above the 200-day simple moving average. So last 2 days has been very positive for this counter, approximately gaining near about 5%, which is the initial sign of reversal, because we have already seen a correction from the zone of 1600 towards 1200, and this is just the beginning for another trend reversal in this counter. So I expect that from here onwards, there can be a decent return that can be seen in Auro Pharma. Nearly 1450 will be the immediate target in the short-term perspective, but overall it looks very poised to test the zone of 1550 to 1600 from medium-term time frame.
Okay, so that's the outlook on Aurobindo Pharma. On the technicals, Jinay, no doubt, no surprise rather, you've also kept it going with the pharma pack, and you've picked out Lupin for us. Good news flow coming in for this stock. Tell us what it is.
Well, definitely Lupin is in focus. So the company has been marketing the hum insulin range of products through their existing distribution and production and promotion agreement with Lilly India. Now, hum insulin range of products is indicated for the treatment of type 1 and type 2 diabetes mellitus to improve the blood sugar control in both adults as well as children. Now, Nilesh Gupta, who is the MD of Lupin, have said that this acquisition is an strategic to their ongoing efforts to expand the diabetes portfolio, providing high quality and affordable healthcare to their patients, and that is why Lupin is in focus, currently trading up above 2%.
Right, that's the reason why we are seeing good surge when it comes to Lupin then. But Osho, talk to us about Concord, because this particular area hasn't been that great for Concord and the stock has been under pressure as well. But are we in to expect some bit of a bounce back when it comes to Concord?
The recommendation is basically on Concord Biotech. So this counter has seen a decent movement after the listing. So Concord Biotech has been moving in a cycle of higher lows on a daily time frame chart, and I am expecting that with the recent movement in today's trading session, the counter has even seen a very drastic upsurge. So I expect that in the coming period, there is a high potential for this counter to test the zone of 2500 in the short-term time frame, followed by 2600 from a medium-term time frame.
So that's the view coming in on Concord Biotech from Osho. But on that note, then we'll be slipping into a short break and keep it going with all the big buzzers in today's trade on the fundamentals as well as a tech check on what stocks are looking good heading into 2025. You stay tuned. We'll be right back on the other side.
Welcome back to Market Fatafat on ET now, and taking a stock of the benchmark indices a bit, because it's Nifty 50 that is in the green territory right now, because at one point in time Nifty 50 has actually broken below that 23,500 mark as well. But look at the stellar recovery from the day's lowest point, as well as even for the bank Nifty just a few points away, getting back into the green territory. 30 points of cut is what we are seeing on that particular index, and a good recovery indeed. And it's India VIX that is still holding on to some shade of green there, so let's wait and watch that whether we are in for some cool off there or not. But yes, some of the stocks have been doing well, but from the broader market space as well, the stocks have been lending support, but benchmark and the large caps are also recovering from the day's lowest point. But for this, viewers, let's get back to the stock specific action then, and highlighting next stock, that is HAL, when some of the reports suggest that the deal for the fighter jet engine technology transfer with the US has run into rough weather, with the likely increase in the cost following the technical discussions with select Indian partners. HAL is likely be in focus. This was one of the deals that was estimated to be around $1 billion, and the deal is not closed yet, and there are some cost pressures that are building in for HAL, where the deal is actually run into rough waters. So that's the development that we are still tracking, but some of the reports do suggest that this deal is likely facing some bit of a pressure and some negotiations there. So on the back of this report, HAL is in focus, but nevertheless the stock has been flying high with almost 2.5% of gain right now.
Absolutely, it's been contrasting moves coming in for a couple of stocks. If you take a look at Mazgaon Docs also, it's positive news flow. Stock is not doing all that well, but we'll talk about that a little later in detail. Osho, coming to you now. KEI Industries is the stock that you've picked out for us. On the year-to-date basis, or yearly basis, 1 year basis, since we are at the last day of the year, the stock has done pretty well. 37% return coming in. However, last 6 months, the stock has been very subdued. So there has been a slight bit of a consolidation coming in. Do you believe that it's now the time on the charts for a pickup on this stock, or do you still see some sort of slowdown and then maybe an eventual recovery sometime soon?
The discounter is into a consolidation phase from the last few trading months. But overall, if we look at the overall trajectory for discounter, then recently discounter has seen a positive traction from the 200-day simple moving average, and again has headed for the strong resistance, which is approximately present around the zone of 4700. So once we breach the zone of 4700, there can be a strong continuation in the bullish pattern for this counter. But even for short-term period, one can definitely try to gain the momentum from here onwards. 4460 odd levels towards the zone of 4700. It still has approximately 200-250 kinds of move is expected for the short-term perspective. So even for short-term perspective, one can take a trade in this counter, and even for a medium-term perspective, I am expecting that the time it breaches the zone of 4700, it can see a very strong movement of near about 700 levels from the medium-term time frame.
All right, that's about KEI Industries. But Junai, talk to us about CESC and tell us why is this stock in focus today.
Well, definitely. So Purva Green Power Private Limited, which is a subsidiary of the company, they have received an LOA for supply of 300 megawatt wind solar hybrid power on long-term basis. Now, this power purchase agreement to be signed will remain in force for a period of 25 years from the scheduled date of commencement of the supply date. As well as this wind solar hybrid power project of 300 megawatt is under a tariff-based competitive bidding, which the company has won, and on back of this, CESC is in focus, currently trading up about 1%.
Okay, well, on that note, CESC is in focus, 1% uptick coming in on that stock. But viewers, once again, we'll step into a very short break and keep it going with all the buzzers on the other side. We'll be right back.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.